The Little Prince. It was the time you spent with your roses that made it so important. Characters: the turquoise astronomer, the vine fox, the signoman, the pearl flower, the little prince, the lamplighter, the everyday Jeffrey drunk, the businessman, the row, the trader, the skin, baobab tree, the king. Main place: the planet of the king, the planet of the children, the drinker's planet, the planet of the businessman, the planet of the lamplighter, the geographer's planet, the earth. When the boy was 6 years old, he read a Virgin Forest book called Living Stories, and he saw an illustration of a boa that devoured its prey, and he began to art a boa devouring an elf, and he showed it to the old people. Told him it was a god, and old people told him to stop that, and I interested in geography and history, and he learned to be a pilot, and he learned to distinguish countries. As an adult, the everyday prefers to take long flights by plane before the company of his contemporaries. During one of flights, the plane lowered down, and he is forced to descend into the Sahara Desert, where he meets the Little Prince. During the attack, the everyday to repair his plane, he receives visit from the Little Prince, who reveals that he comes from another planet, which he describes as very small. The Little Prince expresses his concern about what the lambs eat. About all you want to know if they can eat flour in addition to Charlotte. The Little Prince decides to leave his planet and decides to take advantage of the flight of the dark of lives to leave his world. The Little Prince began a journey to other asteroids. The first one to visit is inhabited by a king. Time shows that he lacks subjects to exercise it. The next planet visited by the Little Prince was inhabited by a drinker, a drunk, who drinks to forget that he is as hen should drink, which live the little prince perplexed. The second planet that the little prince visited was inhabited by a being man whose only wish is to be acclaimed and admired. The little prince then visited a planet inhabited by a bunishman who deals with the stars. He counts, then records them in short. He owns then the little prince rebukes him that this is of no use to the star, leaving the punishment. The next planet was inhabited by the vampire and his lantern, which he turned on and off quickly, since his planet rotated very quickly. The little prince leaves him with some regret because he liked this man who follows him duty without question, and at the same time regrets missing the six-heavy sunsets that occur in that world. The 16th planet was inhabited by a geographer surrounded by maps and books. He mistakes the little prince for an explorer and asks him for news and details of his work. When talking about the flower, the geographer informs him that the flowers are ephemeral, that is, they are destined to disappear, which awakens remorse in the little prince for having left her alone. The little prince finally arrives on Earth, a planet of which its large number of inhabitants stand out, and the synchronized action of vampires from around the world, busy turning on and off the lenses of all contains. The little prince finds a solitary flower which he asks about more. The flower in its entire life was not seen more than 6 or 7, and considered that my life annoying for not having root. Some delays are made about the number of inhabitants of the earth, which in reality can all fit on an island. The little prince wonders about the people since he has fallen in Africa, where he meets a skin that speaks in enigmas, clarifying to the little prince that despite his appearance he is more powerful than the finger of a king, and that he can help him to return to your planet. At last, he meets a fox who is also looking for a friend, is someone with whom to form a bond of friendship. The two become friends, and in this process, the little prince will discover what really made his flower special. Continuing on his way, the little prince meets a route what will explain his job consisting of grouping passengers and putting them at trains. The little prince climbs a great mountain and discovers the echo which leads him to reflect on the lack of originality of man. The little prince finally reaches a path next to a water full of roses. He discovers then that the flower he left on his planet was not a unique flower but one of the many roses that exist. This makes him very sad. Emperor Wu has not been able to repair his plane, tells the little prince that if they do not get water, they will die of thirst. The little prince meets a merchant, a seller of pills that prevent thirst. This provides extra time which, from the little prince's point of view, gold will be spent heading to a fountain to drink. The next day, the emperor's little prince Wu is very sad because of the step he is about to take. It reminds the emperor that he must look at the star because he will light in one of them with his flower. The little prince and the emperor satisfy their dears as they talk about how strange men are. Over the years, the emperor discovers that the little prince has forgot a moon's drawn of the lamp, so that is possible that in some negligence the lamp can let go and eat the flower. I predict that the little prince is very simple and that every time you travel a window, little prince show us the possible essence of all living beings and the importance of the beauty represent process of the rational world with illusion included.